Hello and welcome to Fifth and Grace. It has been a little while since we talked about Harry and Meghan, so I thought I would check in and see what is going on. Ugh, these cards. I've been working with a few different decks, and some are very glossy and some are dry. Like, I don't know. These are quite matte cards. There's no gloss compared to this, which is quite glossy. So every time I switch back and forth, that first shuffle, I'm like, oh, that didn't work. But anyway, there's some weird stuff going on with Harry and Meghan. The whole Portugal house thing seemed to be just nothing, just gossip. They didn't buy a house because it started off, they bought a house and they paid like 6 million, and then they paid 8 million, and then they paid more and more, and this and that and everything else. And then all the people in the village got up in arms and were like, no, don't bring your nonsense here. But they said that in Portuguese, so I don't know how to speak Portuguese, so I don't know how to say it, so you just have to take my Canadian accent. And then it just kind of went away. And it turns out that they didn't buy a house. They were just thinking about it, I think, is how that all turned out. It just kind of went away, which was like most of their things, most of their ideas, most of their projects, they just vanish. They get presented as an idea and then they go away, which is not the worst strategy in the world. A lot of coaches do this, where they'll come up with like a program or a workshop or something, and then they sell it, but they don't actually create it until they know it's selling. So they'll just be like, here's an idea I have, and they'll present it as it's a fully flushed out course. And if nobody signs up, then they haven't wasted any of their time doing the actual work of creating the course. So it's not the worst strategy in the world, but because they are such public figures and such attention whores, they just keep putting out stuff that looks like they're doing something, but nothing ever comes of it. They have a lot of unfinished projects. So, and they're not going to get finished because Harry is out. He is out. He'll have to live up to his legal obligations in terms of, say, Netflix or the books or whatever else. But he left Montecito in the middle of September and has not been back. He popped up in Canada for a hot minute, looked like an idiot, and didn't even promote Invictus in the middle of all of that. Didn't even do any promo, anything about it. And then went and did some weird visit with a children's group or a school or something where they've built Invictus into the curriculum, and it was all just really creepy. I don't know. Everything is just off about these two. But he's been gone all this time. There's no children in the picture at all. Like, who leaves and then doesn't actually see their children for 2 months, unless you are sent away on work or in the military or something like that. Like, he flies around all over the place while telling everybody else about a climate crisis, and then hasn't seen his own children while telling us how to raise our children. Yeah, this guy's not a parent. I don't think these children exist. And you know what's interesting is I was listening to Dan Wooten talking with Angela Levin is her name, and she's like a royal biographer. And she said something, and she's saying, like, these children, if they're around, that's the closest I've heard her come to saying, I don't think these kids exist. The pictures of the children are probably not their children. They're probably not, they're probably just rental kids or their friends' kids. Like, there was that photo of her holding Stacy Schroeder's baby and kind of making it seem like it was Lilibet. And the whole thing is just so strange. Anyway, so we're going to ask the cards. Sorry for that big, long, rambling thing, but I know it's been a little while since we talked about this. And I want to know what's going on around Harry, the energy. Don't forget that a while ago, I did a reading in the middle of a Harry and Meghan reading. I had gotten a vision that Prince William is going to be woken up in the middle of the night, being told there's a phone call and it's about his brother. So, you know, nobody calls in the middle of the night for good reasons. So I would say there's probably something quite unpleasant will happen if this is actually real. And I still have this little cold, so if I have to clear my throat every once in a while, please forgive me. But definitely there's something going on. This man can't keep running around the world this way. He's adrift. He's floundering. He's got really nothing going on, and he's just become a bit of a laughing stock and a joke. So let's see what's happening. The King of Pentacles. And I'm going to look up the timings too, because I want to see if anything comes up December, January, to see if there's anything landing that we can kind of keep an eye out for. So the King of Pentacles, this is, obviously these people are broke, right? Like there just doesn't seem to be money around them. Like they're constantly having to try to sell, things like that. So, you know, and paid appearances and everything else. So I would say that this money energy, he's trying to like accumulate money, and he's trying to gather as much money as he can. Normally I would say this card is somebody who's super successful, but he's not. He's a bit of a failure at everything, except being a royal. He was quite good at that. He was really, really good at being a royal. So this really has this energy, like he's trying to get money. He's trying to perhaps reach his father. I know a lot of people believe that he can just, you know, call his dad's cell phone and have a chat, but that's not the case. If anybody in the royal family, if you want to speak to these high-ranking people within the institution, the organization, the firm, as they call it, you have to make an appointment to speak to them, even your own father. So, you know, unless you happen to be at the same event or something and you can have a little chitty chat, but if you want to have an actual sit down conversation with somebody, you have to make an appointment. And I wonder if this is indicating that he's still clamoring to get help from his father, because I can imagine that King Charles like really wants this all to kind of go away, and let's all just be a happy family again. Without Meghan, of course, that can't happen with Meghan in the picture, but certainly I think that he's trying to reach his father, trying to get money, get help, get a place to live. He's probably been trying to ask his father to give him one of the cottages that he can live in, or a little house or an apartment in one of the palaces or something, so that he can come back and hide, because he's going to have to hide for a little while, because Meghan will just go ballistic, which I think she's already in the unraveling and the meltdown. A narcissist, once you leave a narcissist, they go berserk. It is out of control because they've lost control, and they will do anything to try to get their victim back. The Page of Wands, getting on with something here. Getting on with something. And sorry, for our King of Pentacles, there's no timing. So whenever we have a card that doesn't have timing attached to it, it is now or before you're ready. So our Page of Wands, this is like a new journey for him, which it is. But I believe it's a journey that is going to be sort of circling back to his old life. So there's no timing attached to this card either. But there's definitely like a lot of phone calls are being made. He's probably sending letters. He's trying to communicate with people through other people to try to get what he wants. And this is sort of the start of a new journey for him. Absolutely. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Interesting. No timing attached. It's always so fascinating when there's no timing attached, because that tells me this is all happening right now. Like this is all happening right now. So there is, I would say that this is, this energy is very manipulative. It's jealous. It's not friendly. It's self-righteous. It's a bully. There's a lot of impatience around this. There's opposition. There's deceit. Infidelity is a big thing coming out here. And my suspicion, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, because we play with pretty cards and we just tell stories. Yep, right. That's all we're doing here. We're just making stories. I would suspect that they're both having a little fun individually with other people. I think it's starting to look very clear that Meghan is on the hunt for her next husband, as she's lost control of this one. And the best thing in the world that could happen to Harry is that she is just like files for divorce and then it's done. So yeah, there's a lot of lying. Narcissists lie a lot. They don't necessarily lie in that they start telling you these huge grandiose stories full of lies. What they do is, if you say, well, this happened, they'll say, no, it didn't. Or they'll rewrite history, or they will deny. Like, it's just, and make you feel like, am I crazy? Like, I was there. I know what happened. And they'll try to convince you that it didn't happen. That's like the gaslighting and everything. And then what they'll do is they'll bring in other people, the triangulation. So what they'll do is they'll bring in that third person to say, yeah, like, we're kind of worried about you. Like, my friend is worried about you too. Like, I told her what was going on, and she said that she thinks you're unraveling too. Like, that's triangulation. When you bring in that third person to validate what you're saying. Meanwhile, most of the time it's just made up. It's a fake person. That person doesn't exist. They just start making up people. And you know, and the reason I know so much about this, my own mother is a covert narcissist, very malignant, and that's what she would do. If she didn't like my behavior, she would bring in like somebody I respected and say, yeah, they told me they don't really love this about you either. So then I would start to feel like, oh my God, everybody's talking about me. To this day, there are things my mother told me that I don't know if they're true or not. I don't know if these people actually said these things about me, because she was naming people. So this is what I think is a campaign of lies is going to come out. And she may, Meghan, that is not my mother, Meghan will start trying to, she'll distance herself from Harry by making him seem like the crazy one, so no one believes him. But the problem is no one believes her. So could go any direction. We have the 5 of Cups in reverse. And let's see if we can find some timings here. There we go. October 23rd to November 2nd. So this is just our recent past. This is definitely, normally, upright, we would be looking at this as obviously a change of how we feel about things. That's sort of our top level meaning. A lot of times I would read an upright 5 of Cups as sadness, grief, loss, regret, self-pity, walking away from things, like crying over spilled milk and, you know, all of that stuff. Very self-pity energy. In reverse, this is quite a hopeful card. And one of the cool things, the cool meanings of this card is the return to a loved one, or the return of a loved one. So I think our energy here is he's trying to return to the palace. He's trying to return to the royal family. And I've said before in readings that I think like they will take him back. His father will. William will have nothing to do with him. And then Harry will need to go on like a huge apology tour to his whole family and make a lot of amends. And they'll probably just kind of keep him in hiding and low key for a couple of years to just let everything die down and go away. And then they'll trot him out for something like the king's birthday or the pat walk to church on Christmas Day, or like something like that, where it's a low impact moment, but they'll be able to gauge the public's response to seeing him suddenly with the family again. And then they'll make their moves going forward. If the family's like, nope, 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 then they'll put him back in hiding. If the family is like cheering and welcoming him home and, the hero's welcome and all this kind of stuff, then the royal family will keep popping him into photos and stuff like that. So it does really feel like he is returning to a loved one and is getting loved ones returned to him. And that I definitely, like, he's not going back to Meghan, being away now for 2 months, and his handlers would have very much been educating him on everything and trying to deprogram him from all of this. So definitely we're looking at returning back to the crown, back to the life that he loved, for sure. And then we have our 10 of Wands. Something is coming to completion. Absolutely. Let's just pull up our timing for this card. 10 of Wands is December 13th to the 21st. Ding, ding, ding. There's what we're looking for. Is to see, when are we going to see some movement here? So the 10 of Wands, it's the completion of something, but it's also about being overburdened and obligations and taking on too much and an uphill battle, which he definitely has. He will probably be feeling like that, if he returns to the royal family, like it will be a massive ordeal for him. It will probably be harder for him than dealing with the death of his mother, because he's going to actually have to do some work. And I don't mean like go to events and cut ribbons and, cut cakes and things like that, but work on himself, right? Anybody who gets themselves out of a narcissist relationship really needs to do a lot of work on themselves. And it takes years to kind of rebuild and fix and repair, because you have to dissect everything. You're literally like trying to, first of all, figure out what was a lie and what was the truth. And then as you peel back more and more layers, you find more and more stuff. So there'll be a lot of work for him personally, like inside work, to figure out, why did he fall for all of this? If he did, this could be a totally intentional business relationship, which is what I suspect it is. I suspect it is part of this big plan that he got paired with her to pretend to be married, to pretend to have kids, and to try to interfere in America. Because what they do is interference. It's foreign interference, what he's doing. The same as, when a government, like the Canadian government, sends money to another country for a very specific purpose that may be contra to the values of that country. That's interference. That's foreign interference. So he's been sent here. He's been sent to America to do all this stuff to try to take down First Amendment rights. And that I have a very, very strong feeling that really is what has happened, but has made a ton of mistakes along the way, so that now he does actually have to fix a lot of stuff. Like, it went too far. But then I do think to myself, that interview with Oprah was so damaging, but maybe they were all in on it. Maybe the entire royal family was in on it to make sure that the royal family didn't look like they were doing what Meghan and Harry were doing. There's so much to this. There's so much to unpack. We have the 9 of Pentacles. Something is really coming to we're getting close to the end of something. Our 9 of Pentacles in reverse is like marrying for money and status. It's not earning your wealth. It's about being a gold digger, shady investments, reckless spending, a lack of independence. Like, who does this sound like? Who does this sound like? Seriously, that's them. That's the 2 of them right there. Right there. And we have the Death card in reverse. The Death card in reverse. death, I'm just looking at timings, October 23rd to November 22nd. So again, our most recent past. And this is about repeating negative patterns, resisting change. Remember, our death card upright is about transformation and renewal and change and, you know, doors closing and windows opening and things like that. So this is like the opposite. Basically, this is stagnant energy. He's just sort of cycling through the same nonsense over and over. Fear of beginnings. Yeah, he's probably very scared to return back to England to deal with what he's done and what he's created. There's definitely the energy, a difficult period is going to come to a close. And so, like I said, we've got our 9, our 10, things are starting to wrap up. I did say in another reading that we would get something, there would be movement of some kind in February, towards the end of February, like the 3rd week of February, we would be seeing some movement. 3rd or 4th week. I can't remember what the date was. I think it was like February 25th or something. That we would be seeing some movement, and that was based on my data that I have, the things that the cards tell me. So we could be, nothing's going to happen over the holidays, but there could be, you know, the triumphant return in February, or a divorce announcement or a death announcement, something, I don't know. There's something coming in February. And one last card for us today, the 9 of Wands. Lots of wands today. Isn't that interesting? The 9 of Wands is, and this is upright. And there's a date, December 3rd to 12th. So coming right up. There's another card we're looking for right there. This is about a lot of achievement has been made. I think that what we're seeing here in this reading is that he's getting closer and closer and closer to returning to Buckingham Palace. And, you know, it's about persistence and perseverance to get to the goal, to get to the end goal. You can see, aren't these cards just gorgeous? I think this is the last reading for November that we're going to do with these cards, and then we're going to switch to the Christmas tarot deck. And the link to this deck is in the description, so you'll be able to grab it easily. But this is definitely about being very close to success. And I think I want to say there'll be a Harry in London moment at Christmas, whatever that looks like. We'll probably see his face pop up in London. He's so desperate to return. He's so desperate to take part. He misses it all. We know that. So we definitely, it'll probably be some stupid video like the Jelly Roll one, and like nothing to do with Jelly Roll. Like, I love Jelly Roll. I like his music. I love his story. I think it's a, you know, an incredible arc. But excuse me. But Jelly Roll and Prince Harry don't go together. They're not salt and pepper, that's for sure. They don't go together, and that video was just so cringe and so awful and so stupid. Like, I bet, you know, this, you know, all the courtiers and handlers and everybody are just like shaking their heads thinking, could it get worse? Yes, it can. And our final card, the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups. And I know I said the final card already, but excuse me. This is walking away. This is letting go. This is a change or turning point. This is leaving the old stuff behind. This is walking away from things that don't serve you, even if they look good on paper. And I can tell you their marriage does not. So this is February 19th to 28th, which takes us right back to what I was saying about there's going to be something at the end of February. The last 2 weeks of February, there'll be movement. There'll be something. We don't know what it is, but there will be something. So there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have stuck around this long, I would love to invite you to my festive Yule celebration that I'm hosting with my friend Caitlin of the Intuitive Forest. It is on December 20th at 7 p.m. Toronto time, or if you live in Toronto, that's Toronto. And it's going to be the most beautiful evening of a visualization, a talk on supporting people during the holidays. We're going to have a little dance party. There's prizes and gifts for everyone. I might pull some cards too, even. There's all kinds of things going on. I think we have 13 parts planned so far. And I keep adding because I just can't resist. It's one of my most favorite things in the world to do is my Yule call. I did it last year. We had a blast, an absolute blast. So I do hope you'll join us. Look in the description for the invitation and the link. You must sign up in order to receive the Zoom link. It will be hosted on Zoom so we can all take part. There will be no recordings, nothing. That's it. One night only. You join us or you don't. I really hope you do. And I hope to see you there. Thank you for joining me today. Have a magical day.